All right. Well, we're right on the hour now. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you are just joining, welcome. My name is Tonya, and this is an all levels yoga class for Comeback Yoga. Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization based out of Denver, Colorado. We have instructors all over the state, and I don't know, there might be one in Wyoming. I'm not sure. Lots of classes. In person, maybe not so much right now, but we have a lot of online classes, a library of classes, in fact. We live stream a couple times a day, and those classes are always uploaded, and you can watch over and over again, especially if you miss a live stream, and you can browse through the library and see, excuse me, what class might be appealing to you. We have yoga nidras, which is a meditation. We have gentle yoga. We have chair yoga. We have like power yoga, strong yoga, more challenging. um, and then, yeah, all levels. And that's where we are today. We're at all levels yoga. So if you are brand new to yoga, this is a great place to be. If this is just a great time for you, this is a great place to be. And I welcome all of you. Uh, this in this all levels class today, we will be starting on the mat. And you don't really have to have a mat. It does help sometimes with a grippiness under the feet. And you'll also need a blanket or a towel. So a blanket meaning like something small, like maybe a throw. But if you don't have a throw, it could just be a bath towel. And that's all. That's all you need for today. So it's about a 50-minute class. We'll be on the floor, maybe doing some standing work, and then back down on the floor for a 5 to 10 minute meditation. Certainly, you can always, grab a chair if you want, or an extra pillow or cushion to sit on. Anything that makes your practice that supports your practice. So, if you've never done yoga, um, maybe having a tie or something that might help you assist in some of the hamstring work, but don't don't need anything really. All right, so we're going to come on to our back. Starting today's practice in a constructive rest pose. So, lying down, maybe the knees come together, maybe the feet a little wider than the hip, but just try to find a place where you don't have to, you're not gripping, you're not holding, you're not tightening anywhere where there's effort, I should say. We're just in a place where we can just feel the support beneath us. And our eyes can be closed or open, and we'll just sense how our breath is coming into our body today and sensing the breath moving out. The breath is naturally occurring. There's no need to change, force, or adjust anything. Our breath is something that really, we come into the world with. It sustains us. I don't know how many times a day we breathe in and out. It's part of this life force that provides, that nourishes, does not, we don't even have to think about it. However, when we are experiencing times of stress, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, our breath can change. And Simply just by bringing our attention to our breath, can we then change the breath, and it can reduce our reaction to something that's created by our mind or something that we're responding to physically or something that we're experiencing at our heart. So we're just noticing our breath here, feeling the width of it, the length of it, and whether the chest rises with the breath or the belly rises with the breath. And what about the side ribs? Do we feel those moving out? Do we feel as we breathe in and out that the surface beneath us moves away and comes closer? And really, it's not moving away, it's our body moving towards it and our body moving away from it. We'll just take a couple more breaths here. All right, go ahead and straighten your legs now and take a big good morning stretch as the arms come up overhead alongside the ears. You can point the feet and then bring your arms to your sides as you flex the feet. So bringing the toes towards the knees is flexion, pointing the feet, arms coming next to the ears. Let's just keep going with this, moving with the breath, noticing from fingertips to toes, the air moving across our skin, maybe between the toes and the fingers. A couple more times. Continue to notice the breath. Good. Now, keeping the arms to your sides with the palms facing down. Let's take the arms now out to the side, circling them wide. Flex your feet here, and then circle the arms down and pointing the feet. And keep going. Inhaling, arms rise. Exhaling, arms to your sides. So just go to the range of motion that is suitable for your body. There might be, some pain or discomfort, and notice that, and maybe adjust your range of motion. Maybe you're not going up quite as high up overhead. Maybe your elbows are bent. Just tracking sensation. Maybe the arms are straight. Let's continue. If there's, clunking or any, um, just noticing. All right, and last one. And then bring your arms across your chest, grabbing opposite shoulders, maybe grabbing the ribs instead, just whatever is available. Noticing which elbow is on top. Open your arms and take your other elbow on top. And grabbing shoulders or ribs. And stretching your arms back overhead to a comfortable position. Maybe the elbows are bent or maybe the arms are straight. Now walk or slide your legs to the bottom corner of your mat, one corner. So both legs over to one corner. And then slide your arms and your torso to the upper corner of the same side of your mat. So we're coming into kind of a crescent shape in the body. Maybe your inside leg comes onto the bottom side leg. And opening up your side ribs, your side waist here. You can look under the arm or up towards the ceiling, whatever is the most comfortable for your head. And unwind the legs. And walk to the other side of your mat. Upper and lower corners, extension through the arms, through the legs. And maybe taking that ankle on the other ankle. See if you can keep the hips and the shoulders down to the floor. If they're coming off of the floor, then back out of this extension a little bit more. And now come back to center with your whole body. And then point and flex, alternating feet and alternating arms as well. So, like you're reaching to the wall behind you and you're reaching to the floor or the wall, I mean, near those feet. And just kind of side to side. You might even notice some movement in the hips. And then start to bend your elbows side to side, like you're reaching or you're climbing a rope, maybe. Little side bends here, kind of. Good. And then come to stillness, arms resting to your sides, and just kind of notice any tingling, warmth. What else might you notice? Walking your feet in. And I'll bring one knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze or kind of moving it forward and back. And place that foot to the floor. Bring your other knee into your chest, moving it forward and back. And bring both knees into your chest. You can hold to the back of the knees or the fronts of the shins. And if you'd like to, now add the lift of the shoulders, the head, squeezing the knees in towards the chest, and then lowering down. I'll do that a couple more times if that's available, if it feels okay. Otherwise, just move the knees back and forth. And one more. Now send your legs straight to the ceiling. Hold on to the backs of your legs somewhere, maybe the calves, maybe the hamstrings. Hold on to the back of one leg and hover your other leg towards the floor. And it may touch the floor or it may not. More of a challenge, the leg stays lifted. And then making sure that you're stable through your core. Maybe release the hands and bring them alongside the ears if that feels okay. If that doesn't feel right, and doesn't, maybe it hurts your back, then maybe just place your foot to the floor, tap the foot barely to the floor, or bring your leg all the way down to the floor, or hover it. Reach long through the arms and legs. Get stable through the midsection, and then switch. Maybe holding on to the back of the leg for stability, or sending the arms alongside the ears as that leg hovers, or whatever option you gave yourself on the last side. Make an audible sound in your breath as you exhale to help stabilize through that midsection. Two more audible sounds. You might notice some shaking. One more time. Good. And hug both knees in. Circle the knees in opposite directions to the sides, to the middle, and circling the other direction to the middle, the sides. All right. And roll to your side. Take a moment to pause. And then pressing yourself up, coming into a tabletop position. where the hands come under the shoulders and the knees come under the hips. Maybe even slightly behind the hips, those knees. Connect your hands to the ground. Feel that kind of that resistance. And then shift the weight slightly forward. Bend your elbows back, coming halfway down into a push up. And press back up. 2 more times. Exhaling, coming down. Press into those fingers, rise up. Last one. Exhale, come halfway down. Coming back up, and we'll come into the pose of a child here, taking that rest, walking the knees wide, feet together, and sinking the hips back onto or towards the heels. Stretch your arms nice and long, maybe coming up onto the fingertips, and maybe lifting the wrists and the palms of the hands, allowing the hips to sink back and down, maybe the forehead coming down to the earth. Walk your hands and torso over to one side, sliding your ribs across your leg and reaching long with those arms. Come back through the middle and we'll go to the other side, sliding across and letting that, maybe allowing that right armpit to come towards the earth. Come back through center. Stretch long into child's pose for a pause. And coming up to that tabletop again, we'll do 3 push ups and then come all the way down. So, with your next exhale, coming halfway, you could also lift the knees, as in this all levels. One more time, or you can skip out entirely. And then let's come all the way down this time to the ground. Coming into a cobra pose, we'll bring the forearms down and pressing up, more of a sphinx pose. Opening up the chest and exhaling to lower down. Now, another stage would be to bring the hands under the shoulders. For cobra, pushing down into the fingers and exhale lower down. You can repeat one or the other, or if you want to, coming into downward dog, the hands slide back a little bit further and we begin to straighten the arms, lifting the legs. So those are 3 different variations that you can do. You can do none of them if you want. Coming down, press up to tabletop. You could also choose a plank. And let's all press back into a downward facing dog. Extending the arms and legs as we lift the hips. Pushing down towards the earth. Those hands anchoring the feet towards the earth. Whatever points of contact you have, push down more to create some extension and traction in the body. And let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. And bringing your knees down to the ground. Come to stand on your knees, and if you want to use that blanket to pad the knees, do so. We'll face the long edge of our mat, taking the left leg out to the side. And with your next inhale, open up the arms. And with your exhale, reach over your straight leg, side bend. Kind of the theme today is opening up the sides. And take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, lower down. And switch sides. Other knee comes under. Right leg goes out. It doesn't matter the position of your foot. It depends on the architecture of your foot. With your next inhale, send those arms out wide. Exhale, extend long. And then tip into the side bend. Gate pose. Breathing. And inhale to rise. Exhale, take it down. We'll come to kneel again, hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips. tucking the toes under, send the hips back and lift up for downward facing dog.
Getting nice and long.
And bending the knees a little bit. Use your hands, walk them back to your feet. And coming into a chair pose. So bending the knees, taking the hands onto the lap for a little support and assist. We'll do a standing cat cow here. So on your next exhale, round, draw the navel up and in, and inhaling to look forward as the belly moves forward and a contraction in the back, contraction in the front. 2 more times. You can add some arm movement by drawing those elbows back and then sliding them forward. One last time. And then press all the way up to stand and pause for a moment, noticing what you see, what you hear, what you smell. I smell breakfast cooking. Taking a couple moments just to sense the earth. Right, circle the arms up on an inhale and exhale. Bring the left arm under the right, grabbing opposite shoulders. Inhale, arms come up, and exhale, other elbow on top and grabbing those shoulders. And let's go again. Inhale up, exhaling, change which elbow's on top. One more time. Inhale up and exhaling, other elbow on top. Don't worry if you forget which one's on top. Okay, because I do that all the time. Release the arms down. Facing the long edge of your mat, stepping the feet nice and wide. Bringing those feet maybe parallel to the short edge of your mat and parallel to one another. And we're going to go maybe as wide as the wrists. If that doesn't feel safe to you, then there's no right or wrong. It's just an invitation to maybe take it a little bit wider. And let's turn the right toes out to the short edge of the mat. Those arms are reaching outward, radiating from the center, the midline of our body. On your exhale, bend your knees slowly into a warrior two, tracking any sensation here. Press down and rise up, lower your arms. 2 more times, bending the knees as the arms reach out. Maybe looking at the fingertips and exhaling, straightening. One more time. Inhale to lower and exhale to straighten. Good. Let's come down again to warrior two, to reverse warrior. So reaching forward, taking the right arm up. Here's our side bend. Taking that arm up, maybe reaching the opposite arm back. And then for a little challenge, maybe float that back arm up. Take 2 more breaths here. Feel if there's shaking, quivering, warmth. And lower down. Straighten up. Turn the feet parallel. Other side. Left toes turn out. Take a breath in, roll those shoulders back, and breathe out. Inhale, send those arms out. Exhale and deepen. Maybe look past the fingertips, the toes. Straighten and release those arms down. 2 more times. Inhaling like wings, those arms lift. Exhaling, lowering down. One more time. And then the next one, we'll find our reverse warrior. So coming down, feeling the connection, the stability in the legs, reaching that left arm forward and come up to that side extension, reverse warrior, sun warrior, however you want to call it. And maybe floating that back arm, reaching up and long. Good. And lowering and straightening. Let's turn the feet forward. Heel toe the feet maybe a little closer together, turning the heels in and the toes out. Taking your knees down towards those toes, coming into a little squat here. Hands resting on the thighs. Take your left shoulder towards the right knee as you come forward, bringing that shoulder in and down. Pushing onto the legs, come up halfway. Exhaling, lengthening as you turn to the other side. And coming back through center, get strong in those legs, push down to assist and rise all the way up. Turn your feet forward now, parallel the feet, and hands coming to the back, the sides, maybe clasping the hands behind you. On your exhalation, just hinge forward from the hips. So from the side, we're moving from the hips here, not rounding at the waist. So you might even take your hands on those hips creases as you fold forward. Just a reminder so that we're not putting strain on the back. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. Feeling your spine lengthening, any tension releasing off of the neck and head. You might even rotate your head side to side, forward and back, up and down, if that feels okay. Now, if you get dizzy at all here, you can keep your head in line with your spine, and that can sometimes be better. All right, bringing your hands down to the earth, walking to the short edge of your mat, doesn't matter which side, and coming into a lunge. We'll release the back knee down to the ground, patting it if you'd like, and assist yourself up into a crescent lunge. Option is to lift the back knee. So, again, just showing different variations in this all levels class. Take your one arm up and then take the other arm to follow as you feel stability in the legs, reaching up and back. And then elbows come wide, just opening up the chest as you draw those elbows down. Take your hands down to the ground, lifting the back knee if it wasn't already lifted. Slide your back foot in an inch or two and straighten both legs for a pyramid pose. Fingers to the ground, maybe to the foot, or maybe to a prop. Turn your feet now to the long edge of your mat facing the screen and coming wide with those legs. Maybe hands under the shoulders. You can grab the ankles, the calves, maybe somewhere along the back, or maybe clasp the hands again here if that's what you chose the last time. Again, if you feel dizzy, make sure to take caution and bring your head up in line with your heart. And we're going to turn now to the other side, coming into a lunge. So get your back leg nice and long, and you can stay upright for the lunge or release the knee down to the floor. Assisting yourself up either way into a crescent lunge. And one arm or both arms lift as we engage the lower legs, bringing those arms up, extending through and reaching up, and then taking it down to the ground. Back knee lifts if it wasn't. Slide it in one or two footsteps, coming into a pyramid pose. Hands can be anywhere, really, the floor, the shin on the thigh. You have a couple of options. Anchoring those feet down towards the earth. And now we're going to step the feet together at the short edge of the mat here. Feet might be hip distance though. There might be a little bend in the knees. And with your next inhale, we'll assist to a chair pose and doing some cat-cow movements through the spine, maybe through the head and neck, adding those movements in. And then coming up to stand, extending those arms, reaching up to the ceiling, and exhaling hands to the heart. We'll face the long edge of the mat again. One more round of standing poses here. So taking those legs nice and wide, maybe again as wide as the hands, maybe not. Maybe now that you're a little bit warmer, you might be able to challenge yourself a little bit as long as there's not going to be any issues in the tissues. Turn your right toes out. Bend your knee and straighten, lowering the arms. 2 more times. Bending, lifting those arms and straightening. Last one. And that's fine. That reverse warrior now coming down nice and low, reaching the right arm forward, up, 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 up we go. And then float your back arm up. Maybe even lean a little bit further back as long as it feels okay in your body. Breathing. And then straightening, reverse triangle. Let's come into triangle, reaching the right arm forward, 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 and down. Keeping that extension on the underside. Keep those arms lifting, but drawing towards the midline of your body. So, kind of a shrugging of the shoulders. Good. Bend the knees slightly to come up out of this, and then straighten the legs. Lower your arms down. Let's come into that forward fold, maybe clasping the hands and hinging from those hips, remembering to hinge from the hips. If you feel like you need to bring the feet a little closer together, that's another option. Maybe your fingertips touch the floor or a prop like a stool, or if you're at home, you have the luxury of maybe there being a piece of furniture nearby. And bending the knees slightly, will come up, turning your left toes out. Sweep arms open and exhale, look over your left fingertips and lower down. Stay steady and present in the back leg. 2 more times, making sure that we haven't forgotten what's behind us as we look to the future. One more time. And then reverse. That left arm's coming up. Stay strong through your midsection and maybe send that right arm back. And reversing your triangle. So straightening, reaching a little bit more out of the waist, out of the hips. Keep that length. Keep the length, keep the length, keep the length, keep the length. You got it. And then take the hand to the shin or the thigh. Arm reaches up. What feels most comfortable and easy for the neck. So here is one of the pauses that we have before the next pose. All right, make your transition through warrior two as you bend the knee and then straightening the legs. Heel toe the feet a little closer together. Let's take a forward fold here. Releasing the hands, we'll lunge to the short edge of the mat, bringing that back knee down or not, you choose. Coming into crescent as we assist ourselves up with one or both hands, maybe coming up, anchoring in and down as we reach up. Taking the hands down, sliding your back foot in, maybe lifting the knee and coming into that pyramid. So as you anchor the legs, you might notice how the upper body becomes really buoyant almost, where it's in the stability and the lower body that gets organized that allows the rest of the body to find that organization. All right, taking the hands down, turning the feet forward. And then let's go to the other side, final round. Lunging, leg back, releasing the knee down, maybe or not. Assisting up with one or both hands. The hips can move in line with the knee or come down lower. We'll take one or both arms up to a crescent lunge. And then taking it down to the ground. Back knee lifts, slide the foot in, and coming into your pyramid. Really, really make your legs strong. Hug the muscles to the bones. Draw your ribs away from the floor. Let's take two. And then releasing, bringing those feet to the front edge of that mat, lowering the hips down, walking your hands back, coming down into a seated position. Getting organized here. So if you need to rotate, otherwise we're here about the middle of the mat, grabbing the backs of those knees. And we're just going to lean back slightly to where the lower legs start to lift. I'm going to bring the shins up, coming into a variation of boat pose. Now, you can always pad your bottom here. Sometimes that feels better. You can always challenge yourself if you're up for it by releasing the arms. You can also try to straighten the legs. Otherwise, just keep it where you are. Maybe the fingers are down, maybe the toes are down. And just working a little bit in the midsection, not in the hip flexors. And then we're going to either touch down or keep the legs lifted as we lower down slowly, 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 and then lower all the way down, stretching the arms and legs. All right, taking your left foot on the right thigh, coming into a twist. So take that knee across your torso to the side and taking your left arm out into a T. Your right hand can come onto the top thigh as you look over the shoulder. And gently bring yourself back, straightening that leg down, taking your other foot onto the other leg, taking your knee across, letting your head move to the other side as the knee comes across. Sensing breath, sensation. And coming back through the center, taking that ankle on the bottom knee now. So kind of a figure 4 here in the leg. This might be where you stay. Option 1. Option 2, the bottom foot slides in. Option 3, the knees draw in. You can hold on behind the leg or the front of the shin. And of course, you have other options, which means, maybe doing none of it. Maybe finding a different position that feels better for your hips. And lowering that down and straightening your right leg and the left ankle coming on top there for that sort of figure 4, ankle to knee. That's one option. Another option, foot in. You might even explore all of these options. And then the other option is the knee comes in. Even in my own practice, I find that I try to break myself out of habitual patterns to explore different ranges of sensation or movement or just make myself curious about what it is that I'm experiencing. And releasing that down. Both feet come down. Bring your elbows to your sides, feet about hip distance, fingertips towards the ceiling. I'll press down into the backs of those arms. And as you do that, you get that feedback from the floor. You might notice that the arch comes into your back. Allow that arch to come. So there's some effort here. Keep the head pressing down. Keep the back of those arms pressing down to kind of get a lift. And then straighten your legs. Make your legs strong here. Pressing those legs down into the floor to get a little bit of a lift in the chest for a variation of um, fish. So you might really start to feel the upper back lifting, the middle back lifting. So we form kind of this bridge pose between the shoulders and the bottom. And then slowly lower that down, releasing the arms down to your sides. And taking a couple of moments to just sense that reverse back bend, fish pose with the hips down, shoulders down. Take your arms overhead, grabbing your uh, left wrist, and walk your legs to the bottom right corner and walking your arms over to the upper right corner. And I'll take 2 more breaths here. And then release that and go to the other corners, opposite corners, upper and lower. And then coming back through center. And you're back. And one last time, we'll draw those knees into the chest, do some circling, maybe some forward and back rocking, maybe lifting the head if that felt good earlier. All right. And then taking a position of stillness. Could be seated, could be lying on your side, on your back. And here's our moment of stillness, another moment of stillness, a moment of intentional pause, intentional quiet, and intentional rest. So, setting yourself up so that you're comfortable. There's a steadiness in your body. You can invite the eyes closed. And in this intentional moment of pause, this intentional moment of rest, notice any part of you that is resistant to this, any part of you that has difficulty in the pause or in the letting go or in the releasing of tension. And whether it becomes apparent immediately, just take your gaze inward and begin to traverse the inner landscape with your mind's eye. So, from maybe the behind the eyes, the inside of the mouth. What about the inner ears, the cavities of the ears? Is there any resistance in these areas thus far? And notice if just by simply becoming aware of these body parts, that there's a natural letting go, there's a natural rest. Noticing the breath coming in and the breath moving out. Noticing the palms of your hands. Notice your body moving with your breath. Noticing your hips. Noticing the surface you're resting on, the parts of your body that are touching that surface. And what about the bottoms of your feet? As you sense your whole body, all of the parts, is there any other area that is resistant to finding the stillness, to finding the ease, finding the peace in this moment, to finding comfort in this rest, to finding comfort in this moment of hibernation where we've taken this time to go inward, to know that there will be a time that we will emerge. And after a short hibernation, we become eager to find that which sustains our life, to that which fills, to that which keeps us full, and yet ready to hibernate and empty again. Take a few more breaths in the space of your breath, and sensing as the breath comes in and the pause, and as the breath moves out, a pause. And it is in between breaths where there is a moment of rest, not forced, There's no effort. There's just a pause. And now begin to deepen your breath. Welcome sights, sounds, sensations coming into your mind, your eyes, your nose, and the ears. Sensing surface beneath you, sensing the movement of breath, air, temperature, clothing, and begin to move in ways that call, emerging from this place of rest and quiet, maybe circling of the wrists, expanding, contracting of the fingers, maybe the ankles, the toes, whatever kind of movement that calls to you, that brings you to close our time together today. Could be rising up to sitting, or certainly you can stay lying. And if you've emerged to a seated position and would like to join me in bringing the hands together in front of the heart, we close our practice together today with a moment of gratitude. We welcome into the heart this place of quiet solace and finding comfort in the solitude as we emerge to now a world of interaction, of engagement. Maybe our duty calls to us, and we must heed that call as human. It's our part of our human condition. So take a moment to bow to whatever is in this moment, and with love and respect to each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you again for being here, being so present. I know you were so present, and it's been my pleasure to support you in your practice. I'm Tonya, and this comeback yoga class is possible because of you showing up and because of those that can contribute. There's a link in the description below if you have the means to donate. All of us here at Comeback Yoga and veterans and all of you warriors, so appreciative. Take good care. EJ, be well. Until next time. Yes, happy solstice.